Presented by Listen Headlines. Latest financial news from trusted sources. Updating daily noontime New York City.
BBC News Business.
May 18, 11:15 America, New York. McDonald's and Wendy's sued for burger ads that mislead on size. A lawsuit accuses the firms of advertising burgers that look bigger than they actually are.
Global economy.
May 18, 11:11 America, New York. Debt suffocates African nations' ability to respond to climate change. Bondholders are preventing low-income countries from protecting vulnerable populations.
Wall Street Journal Markets. May 18, 11:04 America, New York. Can Elon Musk just walk away from Twitter? Here are the Tesla chief executive's options should he try to exit his $44 billion acquisition of the social media company.
New York Times Business.
May 18, 10:41 America, New York. Over 75% of long COVID patients were not hospitalized for initial illness, study finds. Researchers analyzed the largest database of private insurance claims in the United States in the first 4 months after a diagnostic code for long COVID was created. A long COVID patient in Illinois received physical therapy for some of her symptoms.
BBC News. Business.
May 18, 10:38 America, New York. Rishi Sunak warns of tough few months as inflation soars. The Chancellor says it won't be easy to tackle cost of living crisis as inflation hits 40-year high.
BBC News Business.
May 18, 10:22 America, New York. Next months will be tough as prices rise, Sunak. The Chancellor says it won't be easy to tackle cost of living crisis as inflation hits 40-year high.
New York Times Business.
May 18, 9:57 America, New York. Target shares plunge after inflation eats into profits. The retailer pointed to unexpectedly high costs as a hit on its bottom line. Target reported profits that were roughly half of what it generated in the same period last year.
Global economy.
May 18, 9:50 America, New York. India's export shock exacerbates a global food crisis. Wheat prices are soaring after government plans to feed the world fell apart under domestic pressure.
New York Times Business.
May 18, 9:23 America, New York. Target's shares plunge after inflation eats into profits. The retailer pointed to unexpectedly high costs as a hit on its bottom line. Target reported profits that were roughly half of what it generated in the same period last year.
Wall Street Journal Markets.
May 18, 9 o'clock America, New York. Andreessen Horowitz debuts $600 million gaming fund to add to Web3 bets. The fund steps up the venture firm's bets on Web3 technology just as a broader market decline underscores the volatility of the cryptocurrency-based sector.
Wall Street Journal Markets.
May 18, 9 o'clock America, New York. Fed nominee has pressed to reverse Trump-era banking policies. Michael Barr, a former Treasury Department official tapped by President Biden for a top banking regulatory role, faces a Senate confirmation hearing.
Daily FX Market News.
May 18, 9 o'clock America, New York. USD, CAD remains range-bound as Canadian CPI data comes in hot. Canadian inflation data came in hotter than expected for April, which could force the BOC to become even more hawkish in the months ahead.
Daily FX Market News.
May 18, 9 o'clock America, New York. SA40 index price forecast ahead of the SARB rate decision. The SARB's Monetary Committee attempts to strike the perfect balance between calming inflation while supporting the weakened local economy in tomorrow's rate decision.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
May 18, 8:38 America, New York. Tencent posts steepest profit decline since going public. China's pandemic resurgence and its regulatory crackdown contributed to video game maker Tencent's worst ever quarterly profit drop and slowest revenue growth in nearly 2 decades.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
May 18, 8:23 America, New York. Google subsidiary in Russia to file for bankruptcy. The company had already paused most of its commercial operations in Russia after the country's communications censor accused the YouTube video service of spreading misinformation and stoking protests.
Wall Street Journal U.S. Business.
May 18, 8:18 America, New York. French shipping firm to take stake in Air France-KLM in air cargo expansion. CMA-CGM's 9% stake in the Franco-Dutch flag carrier comes as the world's biggest container shipping lines have posted record earnings after demand for manufactured goods soared during the pandemic.
Daily FX market news.
May 18, 7:30 America New York, EUR, USD latest. Support at 1.05 back in focus, ECB rate hike talk. The euro continues to probe the important 1.05 level against the US dollar despite recent talk from one ECB hawk that an outsized 50 basis point rate hike is possible in the coming months.
BBC News. Business.
May 18, 6:16 America New York, UK inflation. There's not much more I can do to save money. We asked people across the country how they are coping with the rising cost of living. BBC News Business.
May 18, 6:16 America New York, UK inflation. There's not much more I can do to save money. We asked people across the country how they are coping with the rising cost of living.
Global economy.
May 18, 4:23 America New York, UK pubs forced to cut discounts and limit menus as costs soar. Mitchells and Amp. Butlers and Marstons warned rising prices are a significant challenge to the industry.
Marginal revolution.
May 18, 3:16 America New York, remote work and home prices. What explains record U.S. house price growth since late 2019? We show that the shift to remote work explains over one-half of the 23.8% national house price increase over this period.
BBC News. Business.
May 18, 3:02 America New York. What is the UK's inflation rate and why is the cost of living going up? UK inflation is rising at 9%, its fastest rate for 40 years, and could go even higher.